On Thursday, June 2nd, we left Buxton and drove to Barwick-in-Elmet, where volunteers from the local historical society gave us a tour. And then we drove to London.
And now we are driving to Barwick-in-Elmet. What is it?
Driving to
Barwick-in-Elmet.
Barwick-in-Elmet. Where's Warwick? Oh, I know what I'm thinking of.
Barwick-in-Elmet.
Warwick. Barwick.
And what's there?
That is the ancestral home of my maternal grandmother's side of the family. The
Feet.
Nope. That's my
Thorndike's.
paternal side. Nope.
There are a bunch of names in them. Are you asking for their names? Because there's a bunch.
Yeah, Burland is one of the names.
Burland.
The
Burland.
Berlins, I don't think, are on the all-female side.
Not on the all-female side, so I've said the wrong name.
But that is it's your grandmother's side.
So what is the correct name?
Well, there's all different names. I mean, they had
Such as?
Yelliots and Stoners.
We're in Barwick-in-Elmet.
Stoners and Bells were in Barwick-in-Elmet, and
Not Gelliots.
I don't know when they moved. The Croft.
All right.
All right, very good.
Did you have some other information on that family history?
So we left Buxton at 9 o'clock-ish. Drove to Barwick-in-Elmet.
Barwick-in-Elmet.
Barwick-in-Elmet. And as we drove up, the two tour guides waved at us like they recognized that we were the only foreigners, apparently. And they showed us all around, and we went to lunch. Had what kind of pie?
Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire pudding,
Always wondered about Yorkshire pudding.
which is not a dessert,
Nor is it pudding.
nor pudding. It's sort of like a bread bowl, crusty fried bread bowl with pot roast in it, essentially.
And I got the roast dinner or something like that that also came with a miniature Yorkshire pudding on the plate filled with gravy.
Catherine, one of the Historical Society people who showed us around, explained that Yorkshire pudding was one of those first things they served in meals when there wasn't enough food, so that you'd fill up on the bread, and it would traditionally be just the bread and gravy, and then they wouldn't need as much meat and vegetables. But these were huge and filled with meat, and then they served vegetables as well. And then she was likening that to other cultures where they serve bread first, like in Italy, or anyway, it was really interesting, and it was good food.
They were very nice. I think his name was Harold, and Catherine first showed us the Iron Age earthworks, and it was a ditch. What was the ditch called? There was like a pit to keep enemies out, like a moat, not filled with water, and then a big hill that they called the Motte, and that was built a little later than the ditch, I believe. And then on the top, we climbed up to the top, and we saw some Jacob sheep on the way. There was some cement, and they said that was the remnant of a World War II building where they watched out for enemy airplanes coming to bomb Leeds. And did we learn anything else about the top?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't remember more about that, but we got to go into the big church there. I believe it was a Methodist church.
We didn't go into the Methodist church. We saw a Methodist church, but this was All Saints Church, the Church of England church, Anglican church.
And met with, I assume he was what they call him, a rector?
Was he the rector?
No, I don't
He was just a knowledgeable guy. He just knew a ton about the church, but I don't think he was the rector.
He brought us around and a little bit, sort of doddering maybe? Is that the right?
I don't know that word.
But, he was, he seemed to sort of lose track of his discussions now and then. And, this is what I'm going to tell you. But I think that when he did forget, he would cover up by saying, "Here, you read this for me." Yeah. And then it would remind him, "Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about."
He also had a habit of, in the middle of a story, he would have not quite gotten to his point yet, and he would just start laughing as if he was so amused by what he was about to say, and we'd all just wait, and we didn't know if we should laugh because he hadn't said anything yet, and then he would finally get to his point.
Anything up front you want to add?
Adam?
No. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, we will return if there is more to be said.
Semi-attached or
One of the things that we were shown in Barwick-in-Elmet, is that what it was called?
Barwick-in-Elmet.
Barwick-in-Elmet, was a bunch of houses, actually duplexes, which they call semi-detached units, which were built for poor people. And the road leading to them is called Welfare Lane or Road or Avenue.
They've never changed the name.
And they've never changed the name since. What else do you think in mind?
Methodist Chapel is on Chapel Street.
The old Methodist Chapel is on Chapel Street,
Even though what?
It's not a chapel anymore.
Oh,
even though it's not a chapel anymore.
so apparently they just don't change the names of their roads.
But also, she said there was a saying that if you could have two, if you could finish two, you could have more meat and vegetables. You were allowed more meat and vegetables, but nobody could finish two.
They're giant wagon wheel size.
Well, I think they probably just made them small as for a dinner size.
even then,
But they're with gravy. They're pretty heavy.
I'm excited about this gravy. I'm a big gravy eater.
I'm a big gravy eater.
We are referring to our tour guide, Catherine, at Barwick-in-Elmet, in Elmet,
Earlier you called it like Elnick and...
Barwich. But did you see when... I shall return. Speaking of Catherine, which I'm recording, remember when the boys lifted you up by your arms? Did you turn around and see what she did? She was all the way across the street, and she did a little hop and squealed and covered her face. Really? Yeah. She loved it. She was so delighted.
So, yeah, we were at this farm where I guess normally the gate was open. It was like in the village. It was this whole farmhouse. I think they said that.
So I heard her say again later that our family did live there.
Oh, wow.
Or was affiliated somehow.
And so Julia couldn't see over the wall, and so Adam and I each took an elbow, just boosted her up so she could see. But then we crossed the street, and you could see it fine over the wall from across the street.
What did it look like?
It was someone's parking lot. It was like some cars and a grass. It was just a yard.
But it's just the antiquity, it's just that everything is so old. So every building we pass, 1600s, 1500s.
Except that one house that looked really old, and they said, "Oh, the guy built it himself in the 1950s." Yeah. We were like, "Oh."
It looked like it was medieval.
Maybe because he built it himself.
Yeah.
I can't read.
It's a throwback to hell. No, remember that video?
When we were in Barwick-in-Elmet and we were getting a tour of the church, there was an old
Really?
Really? What was that? It was not a painting. It was like a metal.
I don't know what it was. What now?
Dan thought I was describing the guy as really, really old.
Really quite old.
There's sort of a metal thing. It had a picture of a monkey on it. Two monkeys.
Those are monkeys?
And one of them they both had these like waistbands around them, and one of them had an actual chain hanging off of it, not painted on. And the old man who's giving the tour grabs a music stand and is like, one of the ladies is going to want to do this.
Turns it
And he
upside down.
turns the music stand upside down. And we're all crammed in this really, like, very small area. So we're all like, oh my gosh. He hands it to Mom and is like, the ladies are going to want to do this. All right, take this and
Twiddle.
tweak that monkey's tail.
With the music.
And first of all, it was not the tail. It was like the monkey was being held with a chain. It was not the tail. So Mom takes the foot of the music stand, and is like, okay, and like pokes the chain a little bit.
And they said, no one's ever done that before.
And then he just said, no one's ever done that before. And we put it down, and it was like, that was part of the tour. And we just kept going.
And I looked back at Catherine, and she was just like,
Mom is shaking her head disapprovingly for our radio listeners.
Why did he say the ladies are going to want to do this?
it's never been done before.
I don't think he was completely there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
Why?
So sweet.
She had to.
I'm compliant.
Wait, but he said tweak the tail. Yes. But you just kind of jingled the chain? What?
It was way up high. She had to use the music stand. And it was like an old relic. Like, why was she scraping?
I know, but that music stand was sort of this incidental thing that was at the side, and then he like discovered it. Oh, the women will want to do this.
Part of the tour was that he was telling us about how he and these other guys who were moving a piano had accidentally like desecrated the grave of
They had, like,
the old like
scraped
former
up the
rector
grave,
of
like
the
the
church.
gravestone.
None of this makes any sense.
Well, that particular part of the tour made no sense, and I kept watching Catherine and Harold
Harold.
just be like their faces were like, this is not what we thought it would be.
I think he was a little beyond in years. He wasn't all there.
He was not.
But what was that? Where, even when you're beyond in years, where does that come from?
The chain. He was like, okay, now let's go on.
Yeah, there was nothing after that. He was just sort of like, all right.
That was what he wanted you to
no
do.
one's ever done that
that
before.
before.
And then we just moved on.
That is so weird.
I feel like he was surprised that she did that. He's like, oh.
Yeah, well, he probably tried to get people to do it, and when he was saying no one's ever done that before, it means Mom's the first one that actually went through with it.
Everyone else is like, no.
Nope.
I will not do that.
Is that like some kind of England joke? Like,
Get the
something we don't
Northern
get?
Americans.
yeah, to
That must
tweak
be
the
what
monkey's
North
tail.
Not Northern.
Very
Well,
strange.
we're kind of in the northern half of the United States.
In Cockney rhyming slang, what is syrup of figs?
All right, syrup of figs.
Pigs.
Public house.
Figs.
Pigs,
Pigs.
legs,
Stairs. Stairs.
It's the flight of stairs.
chigs.
No, it's
Pigs.
it's the flight of stairs.
Peace. Figs. Peace.
No, wigs, hairpiece.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something. What is the?
It rhymes. The second word
The
rhymes.
second word rhymes with what it is.
It's wigs. Yep.
So they would just call it syrup, and that would be
Yeah.
a wig.
All right, well, we've treated this recording to a little bit of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So now we will sign off. Goodbye.
Dad held up to mommy.